Hola, buenos noches, and good evening. This is your weekly news report, and I'm your host, Pedro. Raul Malo, the soulful tenor and frontman of the genre-defying, Grammy-winning band The Mavericks, has died at the age of 60. Malo died Monday night. His wife, Betty Malo, posted on his Facebook page. He disclosed in June 2024 that he was receiving treatment for colon cancer and began documenting his health journey on social media. In September 2025, Malo said on Instagram that he was battling LMD, or leptomeningeal disease, a rare complication when cancer spreads to membranes that surround the brain and spinal cord. The diagnosis forced the Mavericks to cancel dates with Dwight Yoakam in the middle of a joint tour. Malo left home in Nashville, Tennessee, to seek treatment in Houston, keeping his fans updated along his health journey. The Mavericks released their 13th studio album, Moon and Stars, in 2024. Between that and their debut, the band received a Grammy, 2 Country Music Association awards, and 3 Academy of Country Music awards. He is survived by his wife of 34 years, his mother, his sister, his sons Dino, Victor, and Max, and Mavericks bandmates Paul Deacon, Eddie Perez, and Jerry Dale McFadden. Now here's Rafa with our next top story.
A federal judge in New York on Wednesday granted the Justice Department's request to unseal grand jury records in Jeffrey Epstein's 2019 sex trafficking case. The move comes a day after a separate judge ordered the release of grand jury records related to Ghislaine Maxwell. The court hereby grants the government's motion in accordance with the Epstein Files Transparency Act and with the unequivocal right of Epstein victims to have their identity and privacy protected, he wrote in the 4-page ruling. It's unclear when the materials will be released. Earlier this month, a federal judge in Florida ordered the release of other grand jury investigation material related to Epstein from 2005 and 2007. A similar request had been rejected months earlier. In 2019, Epstein died by suicide in jail, where he was awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking charges. His death has sparked conspiracy theories for years, including from some close allies of the president. The administration's handling of the Epstein case sparked rare fractures within the president's base. Now we send it back to Pedro for our next top story.
The first climate migrants to leave the remote Pacific island nation of Tuvalu have arrived in Australia, hoping to preserve links to their sinking island home, foreign affairs officials said Thursday. More than one-third of Tuvalu's 11,000 population applied for a climate visa to migrate to Australia, under a deal struck between the two countries 2 years ago. Tuvalu, one of the countries at greatest risk from climate change because of rising sea levels, is a group of low-lying atolls scattered across the Pacific between Australia and Hawaii. On Tuvalu's main atoll of Funafuti, the land is barely wider than the road in many stretches. Families live under thatched roofs, and children play football on the airport runway due to space constraints. By 2050, NASA scientists project daily tides will submerge half of Funafuti Atoll, home to 60% of Tuvalu's residents, where villagers cling to a strip of land as narrow as 65 feet. The forecast assumes a rise in sea levels of about 3 feet, while the worst case, double that, would put 90% of the country's main atoll underwater. Now here's Ariana with a look at your weekly forecast.
Hello everyone, I'm your chief meteorologist, Ariana, with a look at your weather for the coming week. Potentially hazardous cold temperatures will affect much of the Midwest and to the southeast Monday and into the mid part of this coming week. Additional atmospheric rivers will impact the Pacific Northwest for much of next week, with many areas continuing to see heavy rainfall amounts. A moist inflow will continue into midweek for the Pacific Northwest with flooding, a major concern for many of these areas that have already received a substantial amount of rainfall. This past week, on Monday, lake effect snow is possible in the cold westerly flow pattern behind the exiting upper trough. Rain and snow could spread across the northern plains around Tuesday into Wednesday and into the Great Lakes region Wednesday into Thursday. Farther south, some Gulf moisture return is possible for light to moderate rainfall across eastern Texas into the lower and middle Mississippi Valley for midweek. Cold, high pressure will spread across the Midwest, Ohio, and Tennessee valleys, and all the way to the Gulf Coast early Monday, with temperatures 15 to 30 degrees below normal. For the southwestern desert region, temperatures will remain very pleasant across much of the region with mostly sunny skies for the week ahead. Temperatures will remain perfect with temperatures in the upper 60s and 70s and dry conditions. That will do it for this week's forecast. Now we send it back to Pedro.
That will do it for this week's weekly news report. As always, thank you for watching and have a good week. Gracias por ver el video y que tengan una gran semana.